Good morning, evening, and afternoon, and welcome to part 54 of Aokana,蒼の彼方のフォーリズム. Last time we were coming off of the bit of a situation where Kurobuchi had incapacitated some of Takafuji's members, and we didn't know why or how at that time. But last time I don't think we know why just yet. We kind of got a feeling, but I don't think we got a concrete proof yet. We know how now, though. It was something called pincers, or something along those lines, where you use both your hands and arms to kind of keep the propulsion. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like how I kind of guessed it would go, where you use your hand to go on the one side of the head, which would force the head to repel this way, to the right, but then using your other hand to keep the propulsion going the other opposite direction at the same time. So your head's kind of stuck in motion, but you're getting the force is going back and forward. It is actually kind of hard to explain. They explained it pretty well last time. Anyway, I went into last episode thinking that perhaps there was some other reason, something we didn't expect, something hidden for why Kurobuchi was doing what she was doing. Perhaps it was an accident, perhaps she's got a split personality and she's not all that bad. But we ended up realizing that she is actually quite manipulative. She is she's good at causing people to react. And the thing what we have so far is the reason she's possibly doing all this is possibly due to Rika. Rika has been hinting to a few things, and we don't know too much about it just yet. And now, even though we've been trying to recover Takafuji's club, trying to get the members to practice again, everything was looking great and fine, and then Kurobuchi appeared once again. After some antagonizing, anyway, SunaeVN has let out this hearty laugh. I don't know if that's the right word. Anyway. So, Kurobuchi is still wanting a match with them. Not sure why. To me, it seems like she's really got what she wants, was to test out her pincer ability. But then again, as mentioned before, the why, there might be more to it. It's definitely not to do with her move then anymore. That's personal, directly targeting Takafuji or possibly the members of it. So we'll have to wait and see what that really means. And who is it exactly? And why? Well, let's see how SunaeVN's going to handle it. I noticed Kurobuchi gulp at the sudden outburst of laughter.
そのように挑発を繰り返しても、私は絶対にあなたと試合をしたりはしませんわ。お帰りなさい。何がおかしいのかしら。後ろの人の意見は違うみたいだけど。
Huh? Oh, she's angry. Rika's face has gone bright red. She's seething with anger. It's ballooned inside her, threatening to explode at any moment. I thought her silence was strange, but Never expected her to get this worked up.
あんな風に言われても黙っていなきゃいけないんですか？
She's provoking you. Don't get angry. You have to ignore it.
私が聞き流せてないとでも言うんですか？
I doubt it is. Feels like all I'd have to do is shout "Go" and clap her on the shoulder to make her snap and charge right at Kurabuchi.
佐藤院先輩にあんな口の利き方して。そう思うんだったら試合しようね。それにほらちゃんと書類も用意してきたんですよ。書類って何ですか？前回は約束もなくお邪魔しちゃいましたから、今回はちゃんと申し込み書を書いてきたんです。正式なお願いなのに断るんですか？
Rika's anger intensifies. Listen, you have to calm down. If you go agree to a match right now, you'll be playing right into her hands.
分かってます。分かってます。
Rika turns to face Kurabuchi with a stiff expression on her face.
あなたとなんか試合はしません。
Kurabuchi suddenly stoops forward like her head has literally fallen off, then twists her neck to look up at Rika from below.
残念だな。
Her lips form a grin. The movements of her mouth alone make her scorn and disdain overwhelmingly obvious. Few people can remain calm under so much abuse.
試合してもらうまで帰るつもりはないんだけどな。
Her long hair flutters ominously. One thing I'm actually hoping for, which I don't think is going to happen, is I'm hoping Masiya takes up the challenge and flies in their stead. It would be nice to see, but I don't think it's his time yet. I hope he at least gets a chance, but
するつもりはありません。私だってありません。私試合してもいいですか？
okay. Oh, Asuka's always raring to go, but yeah, even Masiya is surprised. I mean, I was also kind of surprised, but at the same time when I realized who we're talking about here, it does make sense.
私、黒渕さんと試合をしてみたいです。
Which I find quite interesting as well, because if you think about it, she wants a match. Obviously, she's not leaving until she has a match. But from what we can tell, it's focused on Takafuji members. But if another person was wanting a match, and it's not from Takafuji, will she accept it? Because she did just say she won't leave until she has a match. Didn't say who with.
へえ。
Oh, okay.
私は誰が相手でもいいよ。
Okay, now I'm getting a bit lost on her motives now. Do you even realize what you're saying?
黒渕さんってなんだか違うなって思うんです。FC って面白いじゃないですか。面白いことをするのにどうしてあの雰囲気になるのか不思議で。
No, oops. I wish you'd find this kind of stuff less interesting.
そうなんですか？でも試合してみたいです。
She plays dirty. You don't want to end up with a concussion, do you?
それも含めて興味があります。
Okay. Well, don't be.
でもせっかく FC をしてるのにどうして反則なんかするのか全然わからないんです。だからプレイしてみたいんです。倉科明日香、挑発に乗ってはいけませんよ。
It's From what I can tell, she's not. All she wants to do is just have a match. That's what's interesting about this. It's Asuka's just wanting to play. She's just pure in that aspect.
いえ、私はそういうのじゃなくて。
She really isn't, SunaeVN-san. Asuka just truly loves flying circus. That's why she's doing this. Innocent, naive individuals often can't control their words and actions. And that's what's happening to Asuka right now.
私は本当にただ興味があってやってみたいんです。黒渕さんにすごく興味あります。
へえ、そんなこと言われたら私もあなたに興味出てきた。
Kurobuchi lets out a refreshing laugh, then approaches us in a way that makes it look like she's dragging her long limbs behind her.
試合しようよ。ねえ、試合しようよ。
はい、しましょう。
No, you can't.
でもコーチ。
No buts.
でもです。
Asuka's eyes sparkle.
やらせてください。
I can sense that Asuka's moved beyond simple interest to determination. Maybe she has a plan to deal with whatever Kurobuchi throws at her. Or maybe she feels this is important for more personal reasons. I'm not really sure what her reasoning is, but her gaze is so powerful that it makes me falter. Kurobuchi already has SunaeVN-san and Rika exactly where she wants him. So given the situation, they have no choice of beating her. But Asuka hasn't been sucked in by her at all. All she's done is develop an interest. Honestly, Asuka might just have a shot here. Actually, I think she has a pretty good chance of winning even. I imagine Kurobuchi's strategy revolves around getting into her opponent's head. So she's safe from that. Now what to do? Huh?
決まりでいいんですよね。
Before I know it, Kurobuchi is staring straight at me. Sure.
やったー。
日向雅也。
まさやさん。
A shiver runs down my spine. I caved completely. And if she hadn't chosen that exact moment to ask in that exact tone, I may not have agreed. Where'd she learn to do all this? She's terrifying. Fear runs through me. But Asuka,
楽しみです。
she's smiling without even a hint of fear on her face. Asuka, who loves discovering new things, should fly right by Kurobuchi's traps. After that, Kurobuchi goes to change into her flight suit. And when she returns, she immediately says something that makes me feel uneasy.
私はセコンドがいないから、お互いにセコンドなしでお願いします。
It's a smart way of countering her in a sense. Because it would have been obvious to say that you can see what they could have done was use Masaya as a way to try and identify what Kurobuchi would do and try and tell Asuka to try and counter it some way, as well as not allowing Asuka to know where Kurobuchi is also going to allow Kurobuchi to do more underhanded tactics. But it does make sense in a sense, obviously. Hey, wait, I never approved of any rule changes. Kurobuchi smiles provocatively, which what is interesting right now is she actually has the upper hand right now for anything. Because all she can say right now is, oh, if you're not going to, then I can just cancel this match and just go. But that's not what Asuka wants. Asuka actually wants to fight right now, which is the opposite. I think this is what I'm gonna go, but
私はファースト V で待ってるから早く来てくださいね。
she takes a cautious step back.
終わりだ。
Then she says her ominous activation key and flies off toward first.
マサヤさん、
Rika suddenly closes in on me.
おやめなさい、一ノ瀬さん。でも挑発に乗っちゃダメだって。今のは相手の乗せ方が見事でしたわ。日向雅也を責めるわけにはいきません。
SunaeVN-san already faced Kurobuchi once, so she knows that better than anyone.
それに日向雅也は倉科明日香のことをよく知っています。だからこそあえて受けたのかもしれませんわ。
Yeah, I think Asuka can win. Personality-wise, she's the perfect person to fight Kurobuchi.
そうなんですか？
Probably, yeah. I don't want to say this to them, but I think the odds are in our favor. If I felt differently, I never would have accepted this in the first place.
わかりました。頑張ってください、アスカさん。頑張ります。さっきはあんな風に言いましたけど、皆さんの気持ちのためにって思ってるんです。そうなんですね。はい、ああいう選手に負けたままなのってとても良くないと思うんです。倉科明日香、あなたがそんなこと気にする必要はなくてよ。いえ、気にさせてください。ちゃんと皆さんの気持ちも受け止めて試合しますから。
Asuka already thought this all through, huh? Asuka,
はい、
I don't know much about Kurobuchi, but I do know a bit about players who like to fight dirty. You find some who are like that in higher levels of Flying Circus. Usually your opponent gets a point if you break the rules, but there are players who will throw away that point in order to take control of their game.
自分のペースを大切にするスタイルということですね。
Exactly. You won't find many players like that at the student level, but are a bunch in the pro scene. All things considered, it's probably good that you get to experience it now.
私もいろんな人とプレイしたいと思います。
However, I give Asuka an extremely stern gaze to get her to submit to me.
はい、
If you think things are getting too dangerous, forfeit at once. Promise?
はい。
Okay. Then the first thing you need to do is be careful on the first line.
どうしてファーストラインなんですか？
During the summer tournament, she pretended to accidentally bump her floats into her opponent. Enough times to get disqualified for it. Watch out for her doing the same here.
浮き袋をぶつけるですか？恋にそういうことができるんですか？私は浮き袋を自分の意思で動かせたことないです。
If I recall, I think they're referring to the cloth that is hanging underneath their arms, that long piece of cloth. I don't know how to really explain it, but I think I know what they're talking about. Not normally, no. The membrane covering your body also covers your floats, usually. Usually they just trail behind you as you fly.
そうですよね。試合中もあまり気になりません。
Don't you think you'll be able to swing them around like you do when your grav chutes are turned off? If the membrane covering them was really thin, though. Sorry, I felt a bit lost there for some reason. Don't you think you'd be able to swing them around like you do when your grav chutes are turned off? If the membrane covering them was really thin, though. Sorry, for some reason this sentence is hard to read. Don't know why.
確かにそうかもしれませんけど、でも一部だけ薄くするなんてできるんですか？あ、暮らしの設定を変えて。
No, I mean, if someone did that, there'd be proof of them playing dirty. The solution is to use a special agent.
特殊なボンド？
There's a special agent made from dioxane that inhibits the membrane. There are various opinions on why this works, but no one has a clear answer yet. It's hard to imagine it would affect the anti-gravitons themselves, so people believe it affects the equipment producing them instead. However, there's no real proof either way.
からくりが分かっているならスーツチェックをすればいいんじゃないですか？
You'd figure as much, but that doesn't work. For some reason, shaking around whatever you've smeared the agent on makes the effect vanish. If it looks like you're about to be inspected, you just have to casually shake around a bunch.
そんな。
If you keep on shaking during a tournament, the officials will consider it intentional foul play. But otherwise, it's hard to tell. Plus, cheaters are rare enough, so they're slow to actually inspect them.
普通はやらないことなんですね。
It's a special kind of foul play. If you get caught, you'll be immediately disqualified. I glance up at Kurobuchi, who's waiting by first. If we ask the inspector Sue, she'll just shake the agent off ahead of time. We'd escape her trick that way. But I think we should just face it head on.
注意しないんですね。
Here she just says we just have to be careful then. Asuka gives a firm nod. If you manage to avoid that, she'll feel pressured because you know her tricks. And who knows, that may throw her off her game.
相手の反則を逆手に取る？
People who fight dirty may seem strong, but that's only because most people don't practice with them in mind. If we show we know what we're up against, she might self-destruct.
わかりました。黒渕さんにペースを与えないことが大切なんですね。
Exactly. Basically, she'll try to swing her float at you when you start, so stay out of her reach.
はい。ファーストラインから勝負します。
Yeah, but once you get through that, watch out during dogfights. She'll definitely try to use those long limbs to pincer you. I told her about pincer moves yesterday. Kurobuchi may have long reach, but as long as you remain cautious, you should be able to avoid getting pincered. She won't get a chance to even try unless they get real close. If it does happen, just start flailing your arms and legs around like a little kid throwing a tantrum. Asuka spins her arms around.
こうですか？
Yep, that's it. That should just stop her from getting close to you. Normally doing that with your opponent close would just throw off your balance and provide an opening for them to exploit. However, I figure you have to adopt a specific posture to use pincers, and that in that case, it should be hard to build up speed. Thanks to that, shaking her limbs around wildly should be an effective strategy. And if Kurobuchi really goes for a pincer move, I'll take that chance to intervene. Because you can't really obviously allow that type of things in a match, so you have to cancel the match. Focus on speed during dogfights, and circle around her from a distance while targeting her back. We don't want you to exchange blows at close range.
わかりました。
Alright, then go out there and give her hell. What's the saying in Japanese? それじゃあ行ってこい. So just go out there, go and get out there. Anyway.
行きます。
Don't get too reckless, you hear?
わかっています。
Asuka gives me a firm nod, activates her ground shoes, and flies over to first.
呆れましたわね。
Sorry, I know I shouldn't have given in to her demands like that.
そうではなくて、黒渕かすみへの対策を考えていたことですわ。
Well, I've been thinking about it for a while actually. Figured one of my players might have to face her someday. Can't say expect it to happen this soon though.
マサヤさん、
Rika seems unsatisfied.
なぜ私はダメで、アスカさんには許可を出したんですか？
It's quite easy to see the difference, honestly. The current mental, I guess because they just their current mentality. Asuka's more level-headed, and I wonder if he sees Asuka as a stronger Skywalker than Rika. Because there's no point in you fighting her right now.
どういう意味ですか？
You're too worked up. She'd have you in your palm of your hand if you fought her right now.
そんな。そこで起こることが感情をコントロールできてない証拠ですわ。
I'm not trying to be mean here, okay? If you think about it carefully, I'm sure you'd understand I'm right.
はい、わかりました。
Rika barely managed to squeeze out those words. She understands, but can't accept it.
審判を決めていなかったですわね。私がさせていただきますわ。
Satwin's son says that, then flies up to join the two girls in the sky.
マサヤさん、私はまだまだなんでしょうか。
There's sorrow in her eyes. You're getting better by the day, but I can't let you face Kurobuchi right now.
今のですか。
Sorry for the random silences. Rika reflects on my words, then falls silent. Kurobuchi waits by first, a sharp smile cutting across her face.
本当に私と試合をするつもりなんだね。
よろしくお願いします。余計な会話は慎みなさい。試合を開始しますわよ。
Kurobuchi glares at Satwin-san.
早くしてください。
黙りなさい、黒渕かすみ。
戦えなくて残念だったね、お嬢様。
I'm just thinking now. I was just thinking of a word they could have used instead of princess. Because Ojo-sama, I don't think princess would be the right word, but more like lady, my lady, or yeah, it's kind of hard to translate Ojo-sama. But princess is more of like Hime-sama or Hime. Oh well, whatever. Satwin-san ignores Kurobuchi's rather obvious provocation.
倉科明日香の準備はよろしくて。問題ありません。では、セット。
She pauses and sucks in a deep breath.
スタート。
I've heard Kurobuchi's a speeder. Meanwhile, Asuka's an all-rounder. It's quite hard to believe that she is a speeder. Under normal circumstances, Kurobuchi wouldn't even bother trying to take on Asuka.
行きます。
Asuka shoots forward with Kurobuchi in tow. Since Asuka's shoes give her better initial velocity, she remains in the lead. I just hope she can keep this up. I'm not sure how far Kurobuchi will take things, but at the pace she's going, she'll catch up on Asuka on either the second or third lines. Asuka twists her hips to the side, moving her lower body like she's launching into a dolphin kick. Oh?
アスカさん、何を考えているんでしょうか?
Asuka moves into the scissors. The serpentine scissors is used in dogfights to make your opponent overshoot you and grant you access to their back. There's no need to use it on the first line during a competition of speed. Oh, actually this is good. Why didn't I think of this before?
これでいいとはどういうことですか?
Without a second, it's pretty easy to lose track of where your opponent is. But when you're doing a scissors, you move like a snake. So you just have to tilt your neck to see where your opponent is.
そういうことですか?
This might even confuse Kurobuchi.
アスカさんはマサヤさんの指示なしでそういうことをとっさに思いつくんですね。
Asuka's a real creative Skywalker.
ひらめきですか?
Kurobuchi's accelerating, seemingly irritated. Be careful, Asuka. Kurobuchi's closing the gap now. You know what's about to happen, right? You're gonna be okay, right? Here she comes, Asuka. She's right behind you. God damn it, it's so hard not being able to scream into my headset. You can do it, Asuka.
Shit.
Like battle music. A sharp, grating sound erupts from Kurobuchi's mouth as she thrusts both her hands forward. Her floats shift forward in sync with her movements. She doesn't say too slow, she's just kind of grunting with her movements, but anyway. Those floats cut right through the space Asuka was just in. She managed to pull off a high yo-yo at the perfect moment. Yeah, those are the floats. Kurobuchi immediately brakes and turns upward to target Asuka's feet. This time, she swings her floats without even trying to pretend it's an accident. Asuka curls up her legs to dodge them. Asuka shifts straight into a half rotation forward, then starts diving toward the buoy. Shaking her floats for a second time has completely ruined Kurobuchi's form, meaning she can't give chase.
まず1点です。すごいです、アスカさん。
Asuka uses the recoil from the buoy to move down the second line while Kurobuchi gives chase. Not only did she dodge Kurobuchi's attack, but she also scored a point. What an impressive display. Asuka smoothly accelerates off her buoy touch. Kurobuchi, on the other hand, recovers her form and jumps to the second line. Though it doesn't seem like she has any hope of catching Asuka. Asuka seems to be aiming for third. If she can score 2 points off buoys against the speeder, she'll be in a comfortable lead. And after that, she can just hold Kurobuchi in a dogfight on the third line until time runs out. She's got this in the bag. But the problem is, this is going to force Kurobuchi into more desperate measures. Asuka also had the option of ignoring third and challenging Kurobuchi to a dogfight on the second line. Some players would get carried away by their success and immediately try to control the match. However, ignoring your immediate advantage in favor of long-term gains is a smarter strategy. Asuka's got a great mind for flying circus. Asuka touches third. Kurobuchi is still far behind her. She's slowly chasing after Asuka, who's now moved down the third line. Huh?
様子が変ですね。
You're right. Kurobuchi isn't picking up enough speed. This is odd.
クラッシュの異常でしょうか。
Don't know, this could all be a feint. Oh, that's got into Asuka's head. Asuka seems confused by all of this, as she constantly looking back to check on Kurobuchi as she flies. It's clear that Kurobuchi is growing impatient. Maybe she thinks it's too awkward to say her groceries are malfunctioning after how she taunted us. Kurobuchi jumps to the fourth line.
タッチします。
Asuka touches fourth. Now it's 3-0.
何か考えがあるんでしょうか。
Probably. Asuka picks up speed as she soars down the fourth line. And somehow she managed to shoot right past Kurobuchi, who was waiting for her on the latter half of the line.
タッチします。
The moment Asuka goes to touch first, Kurobuchi calls out to her, which slows her down.
クラシナさん、お話ししたいことが。
Oh, what a beautiful voice. The wind is carrying it all the way to my ears.
クラシナさん、私、話したいことが。
はい。
A shiver runs down my spine. Kurobuchi has her head hung, so Asuka can't make out her expression. But I can see her from down here. The beautiful voice is coming from the most ruthless of faces. Corners of her mouth and eyes begin to curl up as she moves closer to Asuka. Kurobuchi, you wouldn't. I have to get Asuka out of there. Move, just get out, get away from there.
逃げなさい。
SunaeVN-san cries out to her as well.
話したいことはない。
I was just trying to think of the way she was talking was, the thing I wanted to talk about was nothing, is what she said. Kurobuchi stabilizes her form. It was a feint all along. Kurobuchi spreads her limbs wide like a flying squirrel and slams her entire body into Asuka. And into the buoy as well at the same time. Asuka! Sorry for the shaking, but I'm just thinking, what is the point in all of this? You have now eyewitnesses as well, and just a week of discipline is not going to cut it for this. This is going to be a ban of all future tournaments in a sense. So like, what is the point? Why risk flying circus to do this? Especially since it wasn't even someone from Takafuji. Kurobuchi. Asuka's stuck between Kurobuchi and the buoy. This is no different from being caught in pincers. The force being applied to the membrane has nowhere to go, so it concentrates inside. Under normal circumstances, it's easy enough to free yourself quickly and avoid injury. However, the way Kurobuchi spread out increases her contact points with Asuka, which also multiplies the force exerted several times over. Simply hearing that increased force pass through your body would hurt, but depending on where it gets released. Asuka could get a concussion. Asuka's expression is blank. Fly! I activate my grab shoes and shoot up into the air. Even after we can assume Asuka's lost consciousness, she still continues. Kurobuchi's eyes are bloodshot. I use SunaeVN's sun like a footstool to propel myself higher as I move to try and stop Kurobuchi. Sorry, I'm just a bit confused now because we can tell SunaeVN's sun intervened here, but then it said that Masi used her as a footstool so that he can go higher and stop Kurobuchi, but she just got stopped by SunaeVN. Okay. Asuka hangs limp as Kurobuchi moves to attack her from above. Wow, even with intervention, she still was continuing to go. A Suishida, she's trying to push Asuka into the water. Come on, I can make it. I slide between them and thrust both my arms up toward Kurobuchi. The recoil sends her flying up and me down. My arms go numb from the jolt of the impact. She actually tried to use a Suishida on Asuka after giving her a concussion. What was that?
この子が生意気なプレーをするからだよ。
The fuck away from us. The pathetic excuse for a match is over. You're disqualified. I wonder how... So I'm just reading this quickly. So I don't think they swear, but of course I can't read most of it, but I mean I can understand. I mean probably also at this current situation. That was one of the dirtiest tricks I've ever seen. Slamming your opponent into a buoy is immediate grounds for disqualification.
反則負けなんか、私にとっては勝ったようなもんだね。動画裏には厳重に抗議させていただきますわ。私、絶対にあなたのことを許しません。
And it's not just the one school, you got two schools gonna be filing a complaint.
勝手にすればいいと思います。残りはあなただけ。
Is he referring to Masiya? Because so far he's the only one who hasn't gotten a concussion, obviously. Oh, Rika. Oh, yeah, Rika hasn't as well. Kurobuchi sends those parting remarks in Rika's direction before flying off. So, I originally thought that, you know, I think we'll see the aftermath next time. I'll also talk a bit about this. So I originally thought Kurobuchi was obviously going to be the arch nemesis, the villain, the rival to Rika in this story, and that we would see her in the autumn tournament. And we'd be training to fight her in the semi-finals, finals, quarterfinals, whatever you may be. But she would be the main role in a sense. But I can understand the first part where when this all first happened, she would only get temporarily suspended. But she would at least make it for the tournament. Is what I thought, because I mean it makes sense for the story to progress that way. But now it feels a bit off, because from my knowledge of sports, I guess you could say, in terms of this type of foul play and causing this many problems, as well as trying to hurting people in terms of irreparable damage, nearly. Concussions are not something to be taken lightly. This, to me, is not something you can easily get away with. It's not like her floats, where you can easily fake that and just, sure, I mean, get disqualified from a match, whatever, it's not bad. But this is a lot worse. This is something where you'd not be able to, as I mentioned earlier, they would just bar you from all future tournaments. You would not be able to participate at all. But then that counters my original thoughts of we would fight her in a tournament. That's a good way to finish it off. So what are we going to do now with her? Is she just going to challenge us again later on, and Rika's going to take up her challenge with a clear mind and then win? But it's... I don't know where this is going, actually. But I gotta say, this episode was quite thrilling and nerve-wracking. I kind of unhappy in a sense that I'm unable to really voice emotions perfectly, I guess you could say. But oh well. Kind of sometimes where I kind of wish there was a voice actor for the main character, which is kind of funny because I didn't actually think of that until I did the Nan series. But yeah, it's quite a dramatic episode. Obviously, it kind of makes you worried because Asuka had probably the strongest potentials for future flying circus, and for the thought of this perhaps endangering that, it's quite sad. That is why you can't take these types of things lightly. Because sure, she might not have any end, she might not have any serious damage to her body or head or conscious, but mentally it could affect you. I think the term I'm looking for is the yips. I can't recall. There's a sports, or I think it's sports. It's a term where you are unable to perform properly because of an emotional or past physical trauma. A good example for me was in a baseball anime I watched, where the character had an injury to his right shoulder. Even though his shoulder was perfectly fine, he couldn't throw a proper. He couldn't pitch properly because he had always had that injury in his mind, and it would cause him to think twice about his pitching, and that would cause problems for it. So I can see that happening here as well, where even though she would be fine, as soon as somebody were to fight Asuka head on, one-on-one in a dogfight, those memories might come back to haunt her. That's actually quite a sad thing to think about. But yeah, we'll see how this all goes next time. we got to see how Rika's, because obviously now she's got a target on her back, and she's probably the more emotional character right now. She's gonna be the most upset as well. That's quite a turn which I didn't expect. So we'll have to see how this is gonna handle next time. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought. I'll see you all next time.